Hey everyone, if you're building or running a multi-turn conversation platform, an MCP, then this one's definitely for you. We're going to talk about observability, which is really just a fancy word for turning your complex system from a total black box into something you can actually see inside, like a glass box. Let's get right into it.
You've probably heard this quote before, but it's a classic for a reason. It really gets to the core of what we're talking about today. If we want our systems to be faster, more reliable, just better, we first have to understand what's actually happening under the hood. And that all starts with measurement.
So let me just ask you straight up. When a user complains that something was slow or a request just failed, do you know exactly why? Or is it more like a guessing game, digging through random server files? If you feel like you're flying blind, trust me, you are not alone. And that's the exact problem that observability is here to solve. So how do we solve it? Well, the solution is built on what we call the 3 pillars of observability. It's not just one type of data. It's 3 totally different but complementary streams of information. And when you put them all together, they give you a complete picture of your system's health and what it's doing. And here they are: logs, metrics, and traces. The easiest way to think about them is that they each answer a really basic question. Logs tell you what happened at a specific moment. Metrics answer, how is it performing in general over time? And traces, they answer, where did this specific request go? Let's break each of these down a little more. Okay, first up, logs. The best analogy for logs is that they're your system's personal diary. Every single entry is a time-stamped event that says, hey, at this exact millisecond, this specific thing happened. It could be a tool call, a weird error, a state change, anything. A log is your ground truth record for a single event. Next, we have metrics. So if logs are the detailed diary, metrics are more like the system's high-level health score or its vital signs. They aren't about one specific event. They're about the big picture, the aggregated numbers over time. Think requests per second, error percentages, average latency. This is the stuff that's perfect for your main dashboards and for setting up alerts. And finally, we have traces. Now think of a trace as a GPS map for one single request. It follows that one request's entire journey from the moment the user clicks send through all your different microservices, maybe out to an external API, and all the way back. It's the absolute best tool for hunting down why something is slow. All right, so knowing the theory behind the 3 pillars is one thing, but actually doing it right is a whole other story. Let's get practical and start with the most common one, logging. For an MCP, what should you actually be writing down? Okay, this is so important. The key is to use structured logging, like this JSON example. Instead of just a messy line of text, you get these clean key value pairs. You can see right away what the event was, a unique ID to tie it to other events, which tool was called, how long it took, and whether it worked. This makes searching and filtering your logs later on incredibly powerful. Now, what you don't log is honestly just as important as what you do. Of course, you want to log things like request IDs, tool names, and performance data. But, and this is a huge but, you must never, ever log sensitive information. We're talking API keys, user passwords, credit card numbers, any of that stuff. Security and privacy have to come first, always. Okay, let's bring our other 2 pillars into the mix and see how this all starts to come together. We're going to see how metrics give us that 30,000-foot view and how traces let us zoom right in on a single problem. See, this is where that structured logging really pays off. By gathering up all those individual logs, we can generate some amazing metrics for each of our tools. For our send email tool, we can instantly see its success rate, how many times it failed, and these super useful latency percentiles. That P95 latency tells us that 95% of the calls were faster than 1.2 seconds, which is a great way to understand the worst-case experience for most of your users. And here is that GPS journey we were talking about. A trace links all of these separate steps together using that unique request ID. We can follow every single hop the request makes. So if step 3, the call out to GitHub, suddenly starts taking 5 seconds instead of 1, our trace will light up and show us exactly where the bottleneck is. It's how you find the needle in the haystack. So we're collecting all this awesome data, logs, metrics, and traces. What's next? We can't just let it sit in a database somewhere. We need to turn all that raw data into something we can actually look at and understand. And that's where dashboards come in. A good dashboard is basically your mission control center. It should give you an at-a-glance understanding of everything that's happening. You need that high-level overview of system health, a breakdown of how each tool is performing, who's using your system, the basic server health, and one that people often forget, cost tracking. And this chart right here shows you why tracking cost is a total game changer. By connecting your observability data to real business metrics, you can see the direct financial impact of your code. It is crystal clear here that the export data tool is way more expensive to run per call. That single piece of information can drive huge decisions about what to optimize or how you price your product. So, let's end on this. When you implement logs, metrics, and traces, you are literally giving your system a voice. It's constantly telling you what it's doing, how it's feeling, and where it's having a tough time. The real question is, have you set up the tools to actually listen?